Welcome to the Weekly Roar, coming live from the Lion's Den, helping new managers become great leaders and awesome bosses. And now, here's your host, Greg Storch.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Roar. I am sitting right outside of one of the original gates of the city of Vicenza. And of course, I'm roadside, so there's a little background noise, but that's part of the ambiance of Italy. What would be Italy without the busy streets and traffic rushing by? I just wanted to share this with you so you could get a view of part of the original city walls of the city of Vicenza. Anyway, today on the Weekly Roar, I wanted to talk about playing to your strengths or playing to somebody else's strengths. But before we do that, I wanted to throw out a few reminders. First of all, if you don't know who I am, you're joining me live for the first time. Thank you and welcome to the Weekly Roar. My name is Greg Storch. I'm the founder of Lion Enterprise, a leadership development and coaching company. I am now based out of northern Italy, but the company was established in northern Virginia. I am holding these weekly lives, and if you don't catch them live, that's okay, because all of these are posted on my website at www.lion-enterprise.com. Go to the website, look up at the top of the tabs, you'll see all of these different links, and one of them's called the Lion's Pride Library. You can go into the library and you can access all of these videos anytime you want. And by the way, today is number 20. This is my 20th video. 20 straight weeks of the Weekly Roar. So thanks everybody for joining and supporting me. I love it. All right, so if you're watching this live, you know what to do. Give me a hashtag live, and if you're catching this on the replay, don't worry about it, but give me a hashtag replay in the comments. And while you're at it, in the comments down below, why don't you tell me where you're watching from? And if you hear something that really resonates with you, go ahead and put some comments in there, and if I can see them on my viewfinder, thanks for the thumbs up. Ah, there's John Wayne Mullins. Hey brother, does this look familiar to you? I am coming live to you from northern Italy, and we're just about to talk about playing to your strengths. So I'm going to go ahead and get kicked off with the topic today because Christina, how you doing? Welcome. Christina's watching from Maryland. Thank you guys so much. John, I know you're piping in from, I believe, Virginia. Yes, Southern Virginia. So, yes, this is part of the original city walls of the city of Vicenza. And that's why I wanted to go live today so you all could share this with me. This is ridiculous. I'm just going to apologize now for all the background noise. Right on the other side of the fence is a road, and people are starting to get off work now because it's 5 p.m. here. So anyway, please disregard the background noise. Today on the Weekly Roar, we're talking about playing to your strengths. Why? Because this weekend, I had a conversation with a new manager, somebody who's in a leadership role for their first time. And the discussion was centering around one of the employees who is really not meeting expectations. And the employee's only been with them for probably less than 30 days. They've had multiple chats with the individual on what their expectations were, and they just don't seem to be getting it. But during the conversation with the new manager, all I kept hearing was about all of the weaknesses of the employee, how they weren't able to do this and how they weren't able to do that. And it got me thinking, I'm like, why do we focus on weaknesses so much? I know those are areas for improvement, but I want to talk about this today because it's an interesting little dilemma that I've found as I thought more about this. So my advice was, how about you not focus on where she's doing poorly, but find out where their strengths are at and capitalize on their strengths so you can cater to those and set them up for success. Now, I believe as a leader, you have to do that for your folks. You have to know where their strengths are and you have to play to their strengths. But I've got some things that I want to chat with you about. And you know what? I would really love to hear what you guys think about playing to your strengths. Here's why. There's a couple schools of thought out there. I think you all have caught wind of the recent movement on strength-based whatever. There's even a book out there right now called Strength-Based Leadership. Strength-based anything is starting to pick up speed. And the concept behind it is, forget your weaknesses, focus solely on your strengths, and get stronger in your strengths. And then other people can pick up your weaknesses. As a matter of fact, one of the popular thoughts in leadership is that you should know your strengths. Be aware of where you're strong, be aware of where you're weak, and surround yourself with people that are not like you, not strong where you're strong, but strong in your areas of weakness. To me, that makes total sense. But does that mean you're hiring 5 people to do the job of 2 people because one person's is only playing to their strengths and forgetting about their weakness? It's interesting. I'm looking at some of the comments. 1,000% agree with using my own strengths and also using my employee strengths. However, let me climb up here. What I do, let's see more. Oh, come on. I can't do it. All right. I can't scroll because I'm on a hillside and I'm slipping down. So anyway, I'm going to go back through and I'm going to comment on your comments. So please still share your thoughts with me on this subject because I'd love to learn from you. I'd love to hear your mindset. So here's the thing. I was reading about this and somebody was saying, in the camp of, no, don't forget about your weaknesses. You still need to work on those. They use the analogy of baseball. So there was a baseball player and the rest. What do I do when I need a well-rounded employee? How do I build them up? Yes, okay. So let me go into this because this is part of my dilemma, right? Like, everybody's not perfect in everything. We all have weaknesses. We're all not that great in something, and then we're all really strong in other areas. But when you need an employee to be well-rounded and be able to do their job totally, then I believe it's important that you find where they're weak, and as leaders, we must provide them opportunities to improve their weaknesses. With that said, my belief is that the primary focus still needs to be on their strengths and making them stronger in their strengths. I believe there have been studies that prove when you focus on your strength, your growth becomes, the potential for growth increases. And that's why I'm a firm believer in focusing in your strengths. So I love this. John, thank you. This is a great point. And nobody better to tell me this than John. You build them up by surrounding them with the right people. That influence and modeling. You get them around people who are modeling the behaviors you want them to display. So that's another responsibility of leaders, is to model that behavior and give them something to mirror back. So back to this baseball analogy. The person that was talking about the baseball analogy was basically saying they knew somebody who was in the minor leagues and they were great. They were a great outfielder. top of their game, and even when they escalated to the pros, they were right up there with the pro counterparts playing out in the field. However, they weren't great at batting. And if they were to only focus on becoming better at fielding and not becoming better at batting, that would serve them no good, because what ended up happening is he focused on being a great outfielder and didn't focus on his weakness of batting. And because he wasn't a great batter, he went right back down to the minors. He didn't stay pro. So that got me thinking, like, okay, so where's the fine line between, I mean, we grew up hearing this. What do you think they mean when they say, play to your strengths? Yes, play to your strengths, but don't forget your weaknesses. I think that's the message today is, as leaders, we need to know where people are strong, and we need to expand on that and capitalize on their strengths, but we can't forget about their weaknesses. It's our responsibility to help them grow. And that's why this other piece is important. What are you doing about your own growth? Because if you're a leader and you're going to help somebody else grow, you first have to grow yourself. So you have to be in that mindset. So this is a really big tangled ball of responsibility, strengths, and weaknesses all rolled up into one thing. So it's really an interesting topic, and I wanted to bring it to you guys today to at least get you thinking as leaders about, how do I play to my people's strengths? And what is my responsibility for their weaknesses? How do I make them more well-rounded people? These are all great questions that I hope provoke some thought, and I'd love to hear some comments. If you're digging this, give me the thumbs up. I want to see them fly across the screen. That would be helpful to me. Nellie, welcome. It's okay that you came in a little bit late. We're talking about strengths, playing to people's strengths. And I know this resonates with you being in the HR field, that there's two schools of thought. Either play to your strengths and forget your weaknesses, or play to your strengths but also focus on your weaknesses. And when you do that, how much attention do you give to your weakness, and how much do you keep playing to your strengths? All right, I'm looking for some comments here, and all right, no more comments yet that I'm seeing. You may have posted them, but you know how it takes Facebook Live to catch up to everything, so no worries. So to recap, what I was talking about today was, as a leader, we have to play to people's strengths, but I don't think we can forget about where they're weak. I feel like it's inherent in our positions and in our roles as leaders, leading the way for people, that we help them grow as individuals. And when you grow, that doesn't just mean grow in the areas where you're best. It also means develop areas where you might be weak. Here's a great personal example. During my growth journey over the last couple of years, I feel like I was extremely weak in the area of spirituality and health. And I didn't not focus on those weaknesses. So I started looking into spirituality and kind of asking myself what I believed in those areas to form a basis. So I started to grow in the areas where I thought I was weak. But I was really strong in other areas, like leadership. So at the same time I was focused on developing my weaknesses, I also maintained a focus on growing personally in my areas of strength. I continued reading the books on leadership. I continued surrounding myself with the right types of people, just like John mentioned earlier, surrounding yourself with the individuals that are going to help you develop your weaknesses. So there's a good personal example of where I focused on both, and I think it's a balance. So in summary, my belief is that yes, you must play to your strengths, but you must also think about your weaknesses in order to grow and continue to grow personally and professionally, regardless of what you're working on. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What camp are you in? Are you in the camp of only play to your strengths and forget about your weaknesses? Or do you think you should play to your strengths, but also focus on your weakness and get better in all areas? All right, you guys, I know it's a short live. It doesn't need to keep going long. I said what I needed to say, and I wanted to share that as food for thought. I appreciate all of you guys joining in live with me from Northern Italy. I hope you enjoyed the view. Keep commenting. When I get back home, I'm about a 15-minute walk from the apartment here. When I get back home, I'm going to look at all your comments. I'm going to respond to you. Thank you guys so much for joining me again this week on the Weekly Roar. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, a great safe weekend. I'll see you next Wednesday right here, well, not right here, but right here live on the Weekly Roar. And remember, be powerful, but stay poised, just like a lion. Ciao, everybody.
Thanks for watching the Weekly Roar live event at lionenterprise.com. If you enjoyed this video, please tell others to join us each week here in the Lion's Den. Thanks again, and see you next week.